Hello, Bergforth, and hello, gentlemen. This is episode 415 of GI Joburg, and I am Paul, and I'm joined by these two mad gentlemen, Steve and
Steve-O!
Oh my
and
goodness. It's Robbo 2.
Rob 2.0.
Robbo 2, the sequel.
Whoa. This summer. Never expected.
So we were talking offline about the fact that we've oftentimes recorded a podcast the week of one of our birthdays, but this one is recording, well, when we finish this show, it will be Rob's, do you want to say the number?
Oh my goodness. For 43rd.
43rd birthday. Happy birthday, Rob. I think
Insanity.
we are going to do, that terrible podcasting sin.
Oh no.
Because we know that you're listening to us on your way to work or starting a new week, but we are recording this on Sunday night, so we're gonna crack some frosties.
Oh, I hope you
Yeah.
heard that. Guys.
And
What are you
toast
guys
to our
drinking, by the
buddy
way?
Rob?
Ah,
A digital e-toast across I wouldn't say time zones, across the Boerewoskirten, Cape Town, Joburg, coming together.
lekker. And
In
cheers,
the
me
house.
guys. Hold on, let me get my aim right there. There we go. What are you guys drinking? Are
Embarrassing.
you rocking
Great radio.
Heineken's
But
or
anyways,
something
we're drinking
ridiculous?
Heineken. Paul's drinking Asahi because he's
I've
posh
got to
like
say,
that.
I'm
He's
posh like
fancy.
that.
Thank you guys. That's very kind of you.
Many happy returns, my brother.
Yes, to your health, my
Joburg wouldn't
guy.
be the same without you.
Salute.
I'm
Cool.
same without Joburg. I think I can definitely say that.
Never leave us.
Yes.
But we're recording this on the back of some interesting news, and it's been pointed out by numerous sectors across the internet. Thank you, members of the Berg Force, Joburg Facebook channel members, YouTube members. Everybody has been sort of nudging us,
Guys.
and it's time we weighed in because for a long time on this podcast, and certainly I've been kind of vocal about it in other mediums, like writing into the Skybound comic books. When will there ever be a GI Joe or Cobra or character in any of these mediums that hails from Southern Africa? Because so far we are not on the board
Or even
until recently.
Until now, yeah.
no ways.
So,
Is it Crystal Ball? Who is it?
I'm curious, like people who are listening to this podcast and are not aware, I wonder where their thoughts are going right now because it's maybe not very obvious at all.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, mentioning it now, it probably is one of the more recent releases.
Mm-hmm.
mm.
One of the more random ones. Anyways, let's cut to the chase. Professor Rottclaw, whose real name is Kilgore.
Crispin Kilgore.
Cedric Kilgore or
Crispin Kilgore. Seems like they've over-egged the pudding or gilded the lily. Like if your code name is Professor Rottclaw and you've already got a kick-ass name like Crispin Kilgore.
Yeah.
It's
I'm Mr. Murderer and I am the villain.
it's a lot. But let's not pick it apart. Well, I guess we're going to. We have to. This is our token South African member of the GI Joe mythology. He is Cobra, I presume. He's the Cobra, like Paleo Viper leader. New classified initiative, I guess, to integrate dinosaur play into your classified collections. And he's kind of heading this up. But he hails from Johannesburg, South Africa. Where do we even begin? Do we have a grab of his file card, Paul?
Did I just send it to you?
Yes, I'm dying to see it on our screen. Can we show it to the?
Okay, well, I don't have it on my screen because I thought you were gonna show it. But anyway, give me a second.
All right, I got it.
You got it.
I got it. Guys, I got it. There we go.
Rob's got it.
There you go.
Somewhere that got lost in translation there with us. But guys, I do want to pull this card a little bit because
you're the Joburg native, dude.
Like literally.
That's right. Yeah, I'm literally the Joburg native.
You're just Joburg, but by name, but not of like destination.
Yeah, no, you're not from the hood. Is it? Well, actually, Rob is actually from Joburg originally as well.
Well, from Gauteng. I was, well, not to share too much, but yes, I was born in Gauteng district of Africa.
Province, yes.
True. The old Transvaal, as it was called back then.
Yes. So, I have a few just things that I want to put out there. I really think a cursory Google search would have helped his name a bit because Crispin, while I know one or two South Africans named Crispin, I can't say that I've met anybody with the surname Kilgore. And I think it would have been nice if they had just tried to look up most commonly used South African surnames.
Yeah, like
to-
calling Crispin Smith or Van der Merwe or
Yeah, like Smith would have been fine. Like Smith
Precies.
would have been a good one. Van Rensburg would have been a good one. Yes, like if they wanted to go really crazy, they could have made it Robenheimer. They could
Or
have made it
Lopsha,
or
bro.
Loubser or Kakis, Sitole, or like there's a whole bunch of like different like South African surnames they could have just looked up and had had one. So that's I understand why some people get annoyed, when their cultures are misrepresented and when their countries are misrepresented
Yeah,
and
now
things.
we're on the receiving end.
Now
of
we're
it.
on the receiving end of
Does
that.
not feel good, guys.
Especially with
We're half joking.
especially with the fact that the gentleman is like in question here is a black guy, and so I think a bit of like googling would have actually just helped give him a much more believable South African name. But okay, that's cool. Things happen. The Americans and different countries have gotten away with that for a long time now. Looks at Pocahontas, the anime. At the Disney cartoons like Pocahontas and Mulan. But then, on the other hand, where the heck did they come up with this character design? Like this idea, like it's weird. It's like, guys, I can't help but feel, and maybe this is just because we are the only South African GI Joe podcast out there. I can't help but feel some of this file card is a little bit inspired by the fact that we have mentioned dinosaurs and GI Joe being in the same universe.
Yeah, I
And
feel the
that,
same way. Like,
like, I
there's no
feel like
way.
it's a
Like,
little
those
bit of a
African
nod
guys
to
like
us,
dinosaurs.
but yeah, I don't know. Do you think I'm being silly? Listeners out there, commenters, like, tell
I'm
us. Do
putting
you
on
think?
my tinfoil hat, Paul, and it's very comfy.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is my $50,000 question to
Mm.
anyone out there, and I'm sorry, I'm not good for the money, but where do you think this comes from? Like, what prompted whoever? And look, this is a very, very new thing for them to have fully written file cards with
Mm.
classified figures. This is, in fact, as far as I can tell, the first time it's happened. Like this forthcoming wave, it's the first time we've gotten these official fully written file cards with the primary specialty, secondary specialty, birthplace. So there's been some thought going into this. You can't deny it. But
Yeah, thankfully.
what is that process and how much thought has been put into it is questionable. I mean, Paul, you've already said like even a cursory Google search of like typical South African names would probably not put Crispin Kilgore at the top of anyone's list. Notwithstanding, it's a cool name. Don't
It is a
deny
cool
it.
name.
But like this seems a bit lip servicey. If I'm gonna put a fine point on it, it's like
Yeah.
there's a vague understanding that there's a podcast out there from South Africa. Like they've often banged the drum about like representation and let's have a GI Joe or Cobra from just this region of the continent. It doesn't even necessarily have to be South Africa, the nation, but like Africa's
Namibian.
pretty underrepresented in the GI Joe mythology.
Agreed.
So it does feel like it's just to kind of shut us up.
Yeah,
Maybe.
hey guys, this is for you.
Maybe.
I suppose, I mean, the one thing with this, obviously, a lot of the characters that have been given file cards to are characters that already exist in GI Joe. So those are quite easy to do. You essentially kind of either paraphrase the original ones or you copy paste the information across to kind of line it more in line with, I suppose, like in the way that they would talk about stuff now.
Yeah.
But this is a fully original new character, and obviously introducing the concept of dinosaurs into classified GI Joe.
The thing that really clinches it for me in the
Yeah.
file card is that there's this quote that says Professor Rottclaw has no real allegiance to or belief in the ideals of Cobra. he'd serve anyone who helps him play with his toys. Now, if I
Mm.
unpack that, it is a valid criticism of the South African government that we are fence sitters. We will politically align ourselves with whoever can help us out, be it United States, be it China, be it Russia, be it Israel. So,
No, we're being neutral, Stephen. Come on.
nah,
Neutrality.
that's not how South
Staying
Africa
out of
works.
it.
So
Sorry.
there's that kind of metatextual side to this, that South
Yeah.
Africa is a known kind of flip-floppy non-ally to neither the West nor the East. But then there's that flippant line about he'd serve anyone who helps him play with his toys. Now
Toys.
that is almost a paraphrase of GI Joburg's bio,
Yes.
because we are always on about like, do what you want, just as long as you play with your
Play
toys. Like,
with your
Yeah.
toy. I've definitely said that several times.
collect
We've
however you
all
want,
said that,
but we
yeah.
play with our
We
toys.
play with
Yeah.
our toys.
And it's kind of the recurring mantra of like GI Joburg
Yeah.
and me.
It's our
even.
catchphrase.
I think my Facebook profile for many years is like, I'm currently father of 2, live in Australia, but I'd rather be playing with my toys. That sort of thing. That kind of
Mm.
flippant remark has somehow permeated this character. I'd like to believe it. Who's with
Yeah.
me?
Again, like, not to be like, oh my word, like, look at us, the world revolves around us, kind
We're
of
really
thing.
influencing
But I
everything
mean,
these days,
there are some breadcrumbs here that feel like it is a little bit of a nod. And if that's the case, thank you, I guess. And I don't mean to seem like ungrateful. I just because I imagine I maybe do seem that way, but thank you. I mean, it's nice to have a character that is from South Africa, that is, based in Johannesburg. I feel like, like, at least it wasn't a complete crazy kind of thing. At least they designed a character that had something interesting going for it. For me as a toy, it's has a little bit more going on for it than some of the other releases have had in the past. So I think that's pretty cool. The raptor is a fun addition, or the dinosaur is a fun addition. Also, do want to mention that Hasbro, I don't know if they know this, but they kind of have already released an African character that is pretty badass, actually.
Oh.
And that is Shadow Tracker. Not that it says anything in his file card about being from South Africa,
We get the feeling he's
but
from
the Shadow
South
Tracker has got a Boaka knife, which is a very African weapon.
Mm.
And his whole vibe is very like African, like
And
he's
we've
kind
also
of
theorized before that Norgahide feels like he could be some sort of, kind of like South African
recce
mercenary
kind
of
of
some
thing.
sort.
Yeah, or poacher
Yeah.
bumhole.
Hey, I appreciate that some sectors people I've chatted to also regard Wild Weasel as a mercenary pilot who, because of his history in the Bush Wars, the Bus Wars, he might well be an aviator born in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, we
That's a
have
cool
had wars around bushes here.
Bush Wars, I guess they mean like Congo,
Angola.
Rhodesia / Zimbabwe, Angola, that sort of thing.
Mm.
But Rottclaw, yeah, his ethnicity is, by the looks of things, like Black African. He's got a shock of white hair, so he's gone like Aurora Monroe Storm
Mhm.
vibes. But he's got, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Moyo, the restaurant.
Yeah, it's got the
And you get
markings.
like some face painting. So
Yeah.
there's like white little stipples, those dots. He's clearly a fan of Moyo.
Yeah, he's getting married soon.
Oh yes, it's typically a female face paint, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right.
But it's also something that's more North African than South African.
Oh,
Yeah, our like the should I put it, 10 other languages in this country. It's like none of their cultures really do face paint unless it's for like very specific occasions. It's not like it's
It's not like a common thing. Yeah,
it's not a common thing amongst Zulu,
like,
Xhosa, Sotho,
crossing to
Ndebele,
adulthood. I think it's one of the ones.
Venda, Pedi, like, but again, a foot has been put in the right direction. I can only imagine that we're going to get a GI Joe character who's going to be from Cape Town, because you guys are the good guys.
I wouldn't
Apparently-
presume that we make that many ripples that they need to then like suddenly hit the toy line with 2 characters from South Africa.
Well, why not?
We made a villain, but look here, guys, he's a real hero. He'll be like one of those later GI Joes from Rhode Island, where he's got this like superhero file card.
But I think we certainly created some talking points on this. I'm curious
sure.
to hear in the comments what anyone else's opinion is on A, representation, and B, this guy's specific origin story. Like, is it possible? Is it likely that GI Joburg is spoken about in the halls of the classified design teams?
Yeah, are we wearing our tinfoil hats too tightly on our heads here? And
Yeah.
don't get us wrong, like we still think it's a cool figure. The addition of dinosaurs is awesome, I think, to GI Joe Classified. It does open up a lot of alleyways for more interesting and varied sort of Viper classifications and other things. It's a great. I think there are probably a lot of people excited to see dinosaurs done or animals done in the way the style that Classified has done animals before. So
Yeah.
don't get us wrong, we still think it's very cool, but we have lots of questions.
Yeah. Again,
But the question I want you to answer, Paul,
yes.
is this a sure buy now?
I think I don't want to use the term obligated. I think we are compelled to buy this. Not all of us. I think I will buy one for us as the show. It's
100%,
our GI Joburg official South African character. Not that GI Joburg designed it or anything like that, but it's just as GI Joburg, I think we should celebrate a South African
as
character.
South Africans, it's
and
cool to see.
And not for nothing, the dude's got a replaceable head, which is awesome. He comes with a dinosaur. He's got some fun accessories. And I think this could be a fun figure to actually, mess around with and play with a bit and all that good stuff. But so I would like to support it from that angle, certainly. So I don't want to go and say, oh, it's guaranteed, but I think it's a bit of a duty from our side to get this guy at least and show support for that, because somebody at Hasbro in the creative team did lobby to have a South African character, whether it was before the toy was made or after the toy was made. They slapped it on, and there was a conversation that was had about making him a sure thing. And yeah, so for whoever did that, thank you. It is really cool. It's nice to at least have our country be seen. We generally find that South Africa tends to get fame in film as the place where all the mercenaries come from. And it's usually bad guys.
It's true in this case.
It's very true
They
in this
paint a
case
very
as well.
mercenary picture of him.
Yeah,
But also one that he comes from wealth, which is an interesting understanding of what it means to be a person of color in South Africa.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that whole thing.
Yeah, neither do
because
I.
that's the whole thing.
We are
Politics.
woefully disqualified from speaking about such things. 3 white
Yes.
guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
That, but also just yeah, it's just they could have even gone further with him just being from Johannesburg, because Johannesburg's kind of a big place, and like what people need to understand about Johannesburg versus a state in America, for example, is that Johannesburg is the north, south, east, and west of Johannesburg are very culturally different in a lot of respects, and it's odd, to think of it that way, but it is. And saying somebody's from Johannesburg, okay, that's one thing. I mean, for example, I'm more from like the west of Johannesburg, if I can put it that way. And other people where this character's from, I feel is possibly from the south or from the east, because
Whatever any of that means.
whatever any of that means. But what that
Because you
mostly means,
scum, Paul, you scum. West
Oh.
Side brew.
yes, yeah, no, the west side is, I wouldn't say the west side is not, I wouldn't say any of the sides are scummy, but the south and the east is where most of the mining and whatever happens. And so
Where are the dinosaur digs, bro?
in the west, actually, like here, the western side of Gauteng. So like Rudderput area, like Cradle of Civilization is about 10 k's from here, 10-15 k's from my place,
Where all of humanity began.
the Cradle of Humankind. So
I don't think this
yeah.
guy's interested in archaeology
He's an
or paleontology. Anyway, guys, I said we were going to move on because we
Let's
finally
move
have a
on.
topic. But Paul, you can put the full stop to this topic.
Oh, thank God. We're finally going to get to this. I hope I'm doing the right thing now. So,
Whoa.
there are many G.I. Joe characters, toys and or otherwise, that just don't get much attention apart from maybe one appearance in the comic book, seen in the background of the animation series, or just being a toy and having a file card and then never being mentioned again. And Steve kind of had this idea of, wow, it would be so cool to take one of these characters that we feel needs to get a bit more exposure, and maybe put a spotlight on that character and see if we can give it some more life beyond just being a file card. Because I'm sure many of you, I mean, all of us, if you're a GI Joe fan, we've all done that in some respect. And so, yeah, this is where we are. So this is our topic today. So all of you guys, whether you're listening to this while in your car or in your your chill out time in your GI Joe man cave or whatever, it's
Bathtub?
the what?
In the bathtub, maybe?
In the
Maybe they're in
bathtub,
the
maybe.
bathtub, relaxing with us.
Yeah, let's give you a whole 30 seconds to think of that character that you want to expand on, so that you can get ready to type in the comments. But I'm actually going to throw this at Steve first.
Whoa!
Steve
That's
says no.
unprecedented.
You haven't heard enough from me talking about politics and
No, it's
what it
fine.
means
I'll
to-
take him then. I'll take
No,
him.
no, well,
Hey, thank goodness there's only two options here.
just to expand, this is a topic suggested by my co-host the host of Chasing Joe, Ben, who asked me if G.I. Joburg had ever spoken about like taking a character that had a very focused specialty, for instance, like Deep Six, and showing him do some deep diving, like serious. That's not the example he used, but like there are surely characters out there that never got to show off what they do best because there are limits to how many characters can receive solo stories,
Spotlight.
one shots, or an opportunity to really shine.
Yeah, especially when the toys, I mean, the toy line is constantly progressing and it's constantly requiring, especially in the comics, Larry, to constantly introduce new things, and the cartoons as well. They really can't do every single thing. So, like, what didn't get that spotlight? What do we feel needs it? Or what is more interesting?
Such a big roster,
Ugh,
and everyone's got
hundreds of
their
characters,
favorites,
for
and
sure.
and some of us are really waiting the wings for like that story to be told.
Tell me that guy's story. Like, he looks interesting, but his file card doesn't tell me enough. You focused on his weapon firing system, but you don't tell me anything about his background. Come on.
I can think of some great examples that have seen the light of day. And Paul, you tipped me onto the fact that like there's a prose story that Max Brooks, was it Max Brooks?
Mm-hmm.
A collected volume,
Tales of the
name
Cobra
of
Wars.
which escapes me. Was
Cobra
that
versus GI Joe.
Tales of the Cobra Wars.
Tales of the Cobra Wars, where a character like Skidmark gets a short story where he's in a civilian car, like he gets embroiled in some kind of situation, and he's just tearing up the highway.
So cool.
Trying to solve this situation, trying to stop Cobra. I mean, the exact details escape me, but like someone, Max Brooks, thought it was a worthy subject to take Skidmark of all people, the most absurd code name recipient, and make a story out of it, and a compelling one as well, an exciting one.
Love that about
one.
Max Brooks. Thank you, Max Brooks.
What a guy. Love him.
No, really,
That
like
and
what's
others.
not to love? Max Brooks is
True.
incredible. He's an incredible author, and I think he had a bit of in that novel, which I don't have here with me. No, he did pay a small. He did put in a small little blurb just about how he basically, and I might be misremembering, but he said he basically picked the character with like the most challenging file card name. Like he was like, who's got the worst file card name? Like who would be the hardest person to write? And he found Skidmark, and he didn't disappoint. So yeah, sorry. So Steve, does that mean that you're going to tell us about Skidmark, or should I jump into my dude?
I always
should
feel
Rob
like
jump
I
in?
speak way too much on these
Steven
shows.
talks too
So
much.
let's let Rob start. Let's give
Yeah, I
Rob
was
a
gonna
start.
say,
But
like,
it's
yeah,
my
let's-
birthday. That means I get to go last.
Oh.
I'm kidding. So obviously, I mean, you all think, oh, Rob's gonna say Scoop.
Scoop.
But the thing is, like, Scoop has had, I mean, in the cartoons, we got an entire backstory of him, with the, him being a Sigi and all that, being tricked into Cobra, So I can't really do Scoop because he has actually had a chance to have a bit of a background, kind of fleshed out for him, whether you like it or not. So yeah, I can't choose him. I'm sorry. Like, it's not happening. It's not Scoop. I'm just letting you know. I mean, I think there would be several different ones. I mean, I'm just gonna go with two. Because I gotta be that guy. But it's one that we did talk about, well, that Stephen and we talked about before, and actually, Paul wasn't present for that episode, and I was like, this would be an opportunity for Paul to kind of like, also kind of like give his opinion on it. What I'm talking about is Star Brigade Sci-Fi.
Oh, yes,
Which is
hi.
obviously from 1993. He was included with the Starfighter, and on that file card, they kind of expand him to being a quad quasar jumping black hole, skipping a guy who travels that speeds faster than the speed of light, destroying Cobra air forces and destroying the I don't know, what are they called, the Gringle Knights or something, I don't know.
Cobra Black Stars,
Cobra Black Stars, and I mean the Alien Empire, what are they called, the
the Lunatics.
Lunatics. I mean, that, as me and Steven said in our discussion, was just ripe for there's so many like little pieces of things that you could pick up on there and expand upon, and it is probably, for me at least, one of the biggest missed opportunities that that idea was introduced so late into GI Joe, and they just couldn't expand on it, because obviously the line ended. Like, they were just slowly introducing this concept of space travel, and what that would be for GI Joe. Like, how would they feature in a sci-fi, excuse the pun, adventure that obviously we couldn't do in the comics, because I mean there was a lot of those 90s things that Larry Hama could include in GI Joe in his version of what a GI Joe world was. He could do Ninja Force, he could do DEF, and all that, but he couldn't do Star Brigade necessarily, at least where they were trying to go based off what Sci-Fi's file card was. And I think, for me at least, this is one of those like really biggest missed opportunities, is that we didn't get to explore this more, especially being such a big sci-fi fan, in being a sci-fi fan, but also a sci-fi fan.
So technically it would have been great for people who love sci-fi and who enjoy sci-fi.
Sci-fi, yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
okay.
Making
sure.
sci-fi and sci-fi just go well together, and they knew that it
So
has.
glad we're not playing a drinking
they-
game.
That's why they put that sci-fi and sci-fi together. So for me, this is one of those biggest things where, like, the potential of this file card, because obviously a lot of file cards kind of set up where the characters come from. It's like, oh, I spent my winters heating up pipes and now I suddenly want to go into GI Joe. But like, this is setting up like what he is doing, what the future for this character is, more than just like where he comes from. Yeah.
So what is that story?
What is that story? Well, the story is right there. The GI Joe. Suddenly, they've Earth has encountered the Lunatics Empire,
The Lunatics, yeah.
the Lunatics, and of course, Cobra has decided to ally themselves with this organization, because they're like, okay, this is a great way of taking over Earth, and the possibilities for our rule goes way beyond our own planet. And it's up to GI Joe to stop that. They kind of come out of the darkness, kind of being a kind of a Cobra team, to suddenly being the defense force for Earth is GI Joe, and that's headed by one of their crack agents, Sci-Fi, who's kind of like on the cutting edge of technology and where the possibilities of space combat, and where does that go from there? Suddenly we're in space. And the possibilities of what can happen with that. So, you suddenly become like a huge sci-fi adventure. Obviously, you can have this separate to the normal GI Joe, or it kind of like branches off from that. But yeah, like, the possibilities are endless, really. So then you have sci-fi versions of all these characters, and then the roster of the line also expands dramatically. Like GI Joe Star Brigade, you get more of the lunatics, as well as probably eventually good guys from space as well. Because the guys that were introduced were only bad guys, as far as I can remember. Those 3 aliens, three.
So
It was
no crystalline beings or anything, sadly.
Yeah, something like that, and something like those the possibilities of designs for vehicles and stuff. Because obviously the vehicles that they did use for this were repeats for the most part, but we did get that gigantic robot thing.
The armor boss, yes.
Yeah. So like it could really expand outwards into its own thing, which I would have been very interested to see.
Cool, man. Yeah, I agree. I think the Star Brigade didn't really get its time in the sun, especially because they expanded to the Marines as well. And I always thought that was such a cool idea. And just
100%.
like slightly hokey toys, but also a lot of fun still, to be fair.
For sure.
And I think if we can get a chance to do when we do some play motions again, I'd love to kind of explore the Star Brigade a bit more. And maybe we have to build up our Star Brigade roster a bit.
Can do. I mean, like we have, I mean, I think between me and Steven, we have most of the armored guys. And several of the normal suited guys.
And I got the countdown for that. So
yeah, countdown. I've payload from that line as well. Steven has ozone.
Actually, I said
Actually, I have that countdown
but
too.
I actually no, I have sci-fi, but the other sci-fi, the one with the machine gun on his arm. Yeah.
Yes. And then you
cool
are also the only one of us to own one of the lunatics. Is that right?
I don't have any of the lunatics. I've only got
the mega monsters.
I got the monster vipers, yeah, or the monsters, the mega monsters.
So yeah, it does present, because I mean that's also things that me and Steven like to kind of explore when we were kids, when we weren't doing full on military stuff, was sci-fi stuff. I mean science fiction, not sci-fi.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's because it really is. It's a seed in the file card and that entire subset that is setting up something so much bigger than what was ever realized.
Yeah.
And it's sad to never see that, because obviously you can pick out small things from other things. So my other example that I thought would have been interesting was Charbroil.
Yes, do tell.
Because like we've always joked like, like using flame weapons that's hectic.
That's very against the Geneva Convention.
Prevention shit going on there. But he is the premier flame weapon expert on the GI Joe team. Burning people to the crisp. Like, where does that go?
You'd place him above Blowtorch.
I think I would actually.
Right.
100%.
And Ice Cream Soldier.
And Ice Cream Soldier.
And Blast Off.
And Blast Off.
Wow.
But what makes him also more interesting and maybe a tragic character, they describe on his file card that his suit is made of asbestos.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's explicitly said it's asbestos. So where does that also take this kind of man who burns people to death, but is at the same time possibly dealing with the repercussions of cancer, of getting cancer because of the very suit that he uses to protect himself from the flames.
If he even lives that long.
Yeah.
In the Second World War, I believe the most heavy casualties were experienced by German MG guys. Like if you had
the tank on your back.
No. I was gonna say the machine gun. What was it called? Hitler's buzzsaw. Basically, those guys were eliminated very quickly on the battlefield, and second to that were anyone with a tank of gasoline on their backs.
Yeah, that's a
Flammenwerfer.
You make sure you neutralize the guy with the flame weapon, because guess what? He'll probably splatter a bunch of his guys in the blast. Yikes.
Splash damage.
Yeah.
War is hell.
So I hadn't expanded this idea much, but like that just caught me on the file card. I was like, he's in an asbestos suit. And of course, yeah, a flame expert on a good guy team. Like, what does that mean? For a character, like what places can you go to with that? It could be a much more mature story. That was just a secondary example where I was just like, that's interesting. So
there's also that nugget in his file card saying like his family chore on his on the pig farm that he grew up on was in winter to like go down and like open flame
Mm.
the pipes to keep them from freezing over and
Yes,
bursting.
and why he joined the
It
military
seems
as well. Yeah.
there might be some childhood trauma wrapped up in that.
Yeah. And also joined the military because he was like, what specialty will give me the chance to like use fire, essentially. That's pretty messed up, actually, if you really like think about that.
It's quite
Boy,
dark.
take the flamethrower, go downstairs.
You go down there.
We don't come up until those pipes are toasty warm.
Until my bathwater's hot.
I don't like using the fire.
Yeah.
Man.
So anyway, that was my kind of like runner up thing. I haven't really explored it, but I thought that was an interesting idea to put into people's heads.
Mm.
I don't know.
Interesting, Rob. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot to kind of like process.
I wanna take the ball from you only because you mentioned Charbroil, and as you were talking, it gave me and added to something that to my character that I wanted to speak about. So, frequent listeners of this podcast and viewers will know that I absolutely love version 2 of Bazooka, but more like version 3 if you count the Tiger Force version. That's the one where he's wearing his fishing hat, and then there's also Leatherneck as well, and he's also in suspicious retirement gear. But don't worry, dear listeners, I will not regale you with the tales of the private detective agency that is Bazooka and Leatherneck in a future in a post GI Joe setting. We've had that, and you enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it too. But what I will get into is the Mega Marines. The Mega Marines, and don't worry, I'm not going to talk about all of them. It's one in particular. But if you read the Mega Marines file cards, they are quite vapid. Like there's like nothing going on in there, really. It's just like, this guy likes to use guns because he likes guns because guns are cool. They blow up stuff. And also, he learns how to use guns from this guy who likes guns. And it's just so sad because I feel like those characters are very wasted in a lot of ways. And I also feel there's a thing that GI Joe doesn't ever touch. So GI Joe has gone to space. GI Joe has gone under into like a sort of a geofront, like underground. It's gone up against Cobra Law. GI Joe has gone up against robot ninjas. It's had ninjas in it, but GI Joe never deals with time travel ever. And I know why, because time travel is very difficult to deal with. But it seems to be like this thing, like that's probably been stuck to the board since 1982, where they're like absolutely. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. They have kind of had time travel. In a way, they've had it inversely. They've had a World War II soldier frozen, a la, Captain America, and then defrosted in the future. That's Sergeant Savage, but who cares? But we haven't really had time travel, not really. And so I sort of have this idea where with the Mega Marines, especially Mirage, I really like Mirage. I think he's a character that's completely underutilized and hasn't been given much of a personality other than Roadblock taught him to use rockets and to, be able to keep a cool head under fire, basically. Whoop-de-doo. So he passed basic. Yay. But why the need? Why the need to specifically mention that in a file card? And so this is my thinking, right? So somehow GI Joe gets stuck in some kind of a time vortex, or like in a time portal, or whatever, or it's 15 to 20 years, maybe 30 years in the future, and everything's gone to shit because basically what happened is Dr. Mindbender in in his sort of tactics to wage war against Cobra Commander and Serpentor, because honestly he's quite tired of all of this shit, decided to make the monster vipers, the mega monsters, and build up his own army secretly. And so he's been sort of doing this over time within the Cobra ranks. Like every time a Cobra has come in to get like a checkup or has had some kind of injury sustained, Dr. Mindbender has sort of overseen their treatment in the form of making sure that they get specific medication and giving them specific treatment, like injecting them with specific genes or antibodies or whatever. But they were carriers, for like mutagens and things like that, which have slowly mutated those guys over time. And what he did is he essentially set up a time bomb within the Cobra organization, that all of his warriors would eventually all like start like spawning into like some kind of creature and whatever's that he could control. And he did, and he effectively did control them really well. And he managed to overthrow Cobra. So there's no more Cobra Commander or Serpentor, because he single-handedly took over them. But what he didn't account for is that his disease, his virus that he created, would continue evolving and start becoming sentient in its own right. And some of those, what we now know as the cyber vipers, some of those guys would evolve into being the big monsters, and they would eventually sort of have like a hive mind. This thing would stop looking at Mindbender as their leader and start seeing him as the next enemy to them, next threat. So this happens. They overthrow Cobra. There's no more Cobra hierarchy really anymore, and what's basically left are these mega monsters. And they start like attacking America and all kinds of life on Earth, and barrel down and do all the things. And GI Joe is obviously there to go and take care of it, but a lot of GI Joe also takes significant casualties. And the only people that are left actually in GI Joe are a few guys, a handful of guys. So it's like Roadblock, Gung Ho, and Clutch, just to name a few, but they are basically on the fringes of the war for humanity. And so they have to train new guys. And so this is where Mirage is coming in. Mirage is basically like, in my opinion, like the Duke of the future. And Gung Ho and Roadblock and all those guys are kind of mentoring him to be, with the memories of who Duke was, and basically go, like they have their little war stories. Oh, Duke was really great. He was a really cool guy, and he died doing this. And so it inspires Mirage. And so he becomes the new leader of GI Joe. And the person who's now helping to organize and run GI Joe is actually Dr. Mindbender, who's now realized that he had the whole thing wrong. And he's basically like now in control of GI Joe instead of Hawk, because Hawk's also like pegged. And so I just feel like,
Excuse me?
yeah,
Hawk is what?
pegged. He's dead. He's gone.
Oh,
Pegged. He got pegged,
He
Stephen.
got pegged.
someone pegged Hawk.
Yeah, he was pegged.
Oh yeah, I forget that's got a different meaning these days. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where it goes. And this is because I've always felt that Dr. Mindbender, the version 3, the sort of, what would you call it?
It's from the future.
From the future. Like, yeah, and I've always felt like he was supposed to be part of the Mega Marines line, but because the Mega Marines line maybe didn't do as well as Hasbro wanted to, they just moved that mold into the general population of the Battle Corps, basically. And so I do like the idea of Mindbender being that, because I feel he really is. Like, aesthetically, everything about him says that he is. And I wanted to expand on that, but because the assignment was take a character who hasn't really been expanded upon, and guys, Mindbender is one of the characters that has had the most time in the sun, I was like, well, who's his counter, or who's the other side of that? And I'm like, Mirage, because I really love Mirage. But then people, Mirage got the same problem that Boba Fett does. It's like, why do you like Mirage? Is it just because he looks cool, But actually, you can't blame anybody for liking those characters. They look good, but they've got no substance, because the file cards were all like, I like to shoot guns and shit. Anyway, that was my contribution.
Are you setting this in the future, or are you making Mindbender version 2 and Mirage time travelers?
I kind of want to make, so that's where I was like thinking, like maybe one of them is a time traveler. Like maybe it's a Bishop situation where Dr. Mindbender comes back and brings Mirage
you
to the
say
future.
that, but
Yeah.
looking at Mirage's portrait, all I see is Kyle Reese.
Yeah.
He's
Terminator.
pulling that face when Michael Biehn is shouting, Sarah! Dude, it's in the art.
Yep.
Maybe it's just the lens that I'm looking through right this
No,
minute.
I see it too, dude. I see that Kyle Reese face right there. Yeah, totally. Or
It's
he
great,
even be
but it's,
shouting Ripley. Ripley.
but your idea
Same
also has
actor.
like colors. I mean, has like over. It kind of feels like X-Men as well. Like Days
Mm.
of Future Past or something like that, where suddenly Magneto. I mean, I don't think that's Days of Future Past, but it's like a version of the X-Men where like Magneto has to come in and
Age
he
of
is suddenly
Apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah, he's now the leader of the X-Men. Kind of like someone who used to be a villain is suddenly the the guy kind of leading the X-Men to defeat the enemies, while
Yeah.
also kind of fixing, I guess, his own mistakes. You know.
Yeah. And also, like, it's cool that it's Mindbender because,
Mm.
it's not like he's reformed, you know? He's just more organized,
Yeah, he's
Like,
kind of he
yeah.
understands that he made a mistake and he wants to fix that. And the only way he can do that is with the help of GI Joe. It doesn't mean he's a good guy. It
Yeah.
just means that for humanity, for him to survive, he has to align himself with GI Joe to take on these things that got completely out of his control, I guess.
But we probably won't get a story like that from Hasbro.
Well,
Because
it's just fascinating. You and me kind of really like pulled these threads out like into like completely new worlds, like places that GI Joe had never really gone to and probably would never really go to, or maybe didn't get the opportunity to go.
Just loses its identity, but like
Well, I don't
as a
know about
lover of alternate stories and just weird stories and stories that embrace everything that this toy line had to offer, yeah, Mega Marines and Star Brigade are sorely lacking.
yeah, that's where
totally.
that's where the
They're the
line was
Beast Dwarfs,
going.
man.
At the time they were exploring all these different what is a GI Joe, what can a GI Joe do, and they were kind of going into those regions, and that has happened. I mean, there's one of the great episode, that alternate history one in the cartoon, with the Baroness and Clutch. What was it? Clutch, he dies in the alternate world.
Steeler.
Steeler, yeah,
Steeler.
same difference.
Well, Clutch also, yeah.
Yeah,
They discovered
At World's
their
End.
counterpart bodies.
World's End.
Worlds without end.
But
Worlds Without End.
but
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's fascinating. I mean, you kind of pulled up these threads and also use 90s characters. Because I think we
Mm.
both saw as well that there's a lot of stuff in the 90s where it's kind of more hero worship, or it's like hardly any information is given on the file card.
Mm-hmm.
But the theme of the characters can kind of like suggest a lot more about them. So,
And it
having
speaks a
said
lot. Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, man. Like
No,
you were saying, having said that, but it speaks a lot to GI Joe just in terms of what it is, because
mm,
these characters are in a lot of ways they just basically they are ciphers, right?
yes.
But the teams that made them were trying to focus on how could we make this next character the next best thing, the next cool thing, or how can we make him or her part of what makes GI Joe cool. And so these guys really dug in deep for the most part. And
Yeah, for sure.
I still feel that even though the file cards are pretty hokey, I think what happened in the 90s, and I've kind of seen this, and we see this with a lot of toy lines and everything. The 80s were the Wild West in a lot of ways. Like people just went out of their way. And I feel like the 90s became very self-conscious, with the brands became very self-conscious. So they became very heavy-handed in the marketing of selling toys, and sort of pulled away from the mythos of toys, the mythology of these characters. And I think these creators actually originally did come up with some fantastic character bios for these dudes. But eventually, those character bios were just sort of distilled into, I like big guns and I like to shoot, and I'm like the best of the best of the best. I can outrun a Ferrari kind of crap that we got. But the figure designs still look like they come from a place where a lot of thought was put into this character,
Mm.
and a lot of thought was put into the story. And I think, Rob, that's why you and I, just with our stuff, and we're going to hear Steven shortly now as well, that's why you and I could pull so much from this. And all of us as GI Joe fans actually can pull so much and create so much headcanon for these characters, because the character design is so strong. There's
Yeah,
a lot to
100%.
tell the story. Yeah,
But I'm
And
curious, like me and you went like real far.
yeah,
Like,
where's Steven gonna
I
go?
think Steven, I don't know. I got the feeling he's gonna be real. He's like, here's a little character. Look how he would fit into GI Joe a little bit better.
Star
I
Viper.
don't know.
Here
We're
it
far
comes.
out. I think
Okay.
Steven's a little more grounded. Am I gonna be proven wrong?
I know where our bread is buttered. I know we are outliers in the GI Joe world, but sometimes the The classic sandbox is the best sandbox. Anyway, let me not allude too much because I'm going to play a little guessing game with you both.
Ooh, 20 questions.
No.
Oh.
There is a line in a file
5.
card that sets my imagination alight. I'm going to
Mm,
read that line to you, and you need to
okay.
tell me both
I'm not going to look.
what character I'm referring to.
Mm.
He served with distinction in the Mekong Delta, where hand-to-hand fighting with river pirates, smugglers, and insurgents was the order of the day.
Wow, Doc was so hardcore.
All right, we've got Rob's guess. It's Doc.
No, that's not my guess.
For the
It's
people screaming at their radio right now, save them.
obviously not Doc. It's
Uh,
it's mainframe.
I was gonna say mainframe as well, but
Reference to the Mekong Delta.
Yeah.
yeah.
He did serve in Southeast Asia.
Okay. No, wait. Okay, well, I had too many guesses. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with mainframe. Are you also mainframe?
I'm
Paul?
also with mainframe on that one. I feel like
Nah, do something else. Come on.
Come on, Paul. Just say any other name.
okay, I'll just say something else.
Can't
He was in
steal
the
my
Mekong
one.
Delta, so Vietnam. So I don't know. Not repeater. Repeater.
This guy.
Oh, shipwreck. How did
wow.
I not know? How did I not know that?
Shipwreck.
Is that really on his file card?
Yes, his file card is terrific, and that line in particular about hand-to-hand fighting with river pirates sends me down this interesting journey. And I'll let my references be on my sleeve at this point because I'm not original at all.
Cobra that
Think-
got away. Sorry.
No, think Apocalypse Now
Hmm.
or Heart
Okay.
of Darkness if you prefer.
Conrad. Okay.
Think of like a group of random happenstance guys thrown together on a boat on a journey upriver, encountering perils of all kinds. Treachery, wildlife, natives, piracy, just bad times, disease. Think about also, if you want to add into the mix of references, something like a Kelly's Heroes
Mm.
or a Three Kings. A
Hmm.
kind of a non-sanctioned
Pardon me.
treasure hunting expedition using military resources on military time, but a bunch of heroes who are
I
just
love that movie.
out for
Mm.
themselves for a change. And Shipwreck is your lead. Honestly, he somehow stumbles upon a treasure map, for lack of a better term. Like he
hears rumors about something.
he knows where some conflict diamonds or some gold, dare I say, if you want to go really classic, is located up a river. It's an old abandoned Cobra operation that GI Joe tore through months ago, and he was part of that campaign. But he remembered seeing something that he made sure he was going to come back for at some point. So he charters a boat with some old friends, maybe a member of the Corps like Tony Tanner.
Ooh.
Whispering Willie.
Whispering Willie would be a good one too. He's also, interestingly enough, got a certain mutant girlfriend in tow, kind
Ooh.
of shadowing their every move. This is none other than
Mara.
the wonderful Mara, Mara, the Merlady. So there's a romance angle to the story as well,
Hmm.
but ultimately ending in betrayals and maybe some tragedy if you really want to tug at the
Was
heart.
Zanzibar his best friend, Steve?
Ooh.
Who turned on him?
The ultimate sacrifice.
Possible.
I've dabbled with this storyline for a long time, and this is exactly why I was so delighted when Super 7 announced that they were doing Amara. I did a sort of a test bed of it, and if you are a member of the YouTube channel at any tier, you will have watched. Well, you'd be able to watch it in any case. I'm going to show a few maybe excerpts. So if you are watching the YouTube presentation of this podcast, maybe you're seeing Tony Tanner at a late night bar. Shipwreck steps in, and they get to talking about this proposal that Shipwreck has. I'd like to charter your boat, Tony. Anyway, so I have tested this out. I've kind of hit some snags and walls and various things, but I'm always got time for Shipwreck and potential stories that involve him because, to be honest, he got plenty of focus, but none of that focus really play up to his role as G.I. Joe's modern pirate. He comes with a percussion pistol. He comes with a parrot. So much of his presentation, apart from his his classic Navyman sort of work uniform, skews towards the pirate because, there's no ways his hair and beard is within regulations. He's covered in tattoos. He's got a freaking parrot. Did I say that already? I did. The pistol with the freaking scope. I mean, it's stylish, but it's ridiculous. So what a killer look. What a great potential character. I just imagine it opening on a beach somewhere. He's having some weird, very saucy relations with his mermaid chick. I mean, imagine.
Yeah, how does that work? You're gonna have to be like in the water, like at
Yeah.
least like waist deep. For this to
Half in the
happen.
water, half out. Stranger things have happened, I guess. I mean, she's got gills for fuck's sakes. Of course, the rest of her anatomy is adapted towards, being functional underwater.
Always wet.
God, kids show. Not really.
Yeah, I want to say it's a kid's show.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Maybe he gets the call in a more official capacity. Maybe Beachhead sidles up to him and says, "Hey, I got a mission for you.
I like your
Get in the truck."
the cut of your jib.
In any case, I'd love to tell the story more fully.
That's beautiful.
We'll
Stephen.
see. We'll see. Maybe this play motion that I fed to the members can be recut, reshot, find some use.
New life, just kind of expand. This is obviously an idea that's been with you for quite some time.
I love the idea of putting Shipwreck in a less stuffy G.I. Joe situation.
Like the military structure.
He's doing this, which is something he's always got a side hustle, right? He fights Cobra by day, but by night, he's looking at,
He's cross-dressing.
Yeah.
He's going to clubs.
In any case, he's always up for the opportunity to skim a little bit of cream off the top. And the spoils of war, my friends. It's a treasure trove for anyone with any kind of, I don't know, piratical proclivities.
Yeah, he wants to go up that river and find what's there. He'll take that chance.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about that, I guess.
I like this. I like everything that we came up with. I was not expecting. I mean, I should have expected. I wanted to say Smoke Eyes, but I mean that's the drink talking. I should have expected Shipwreck. I don't know why I didn't see it coming.
He might defy the rules of this game because he's not a character that has been untouched. But I guess he's
gonna
a character
say.
that
Stephen bent the rules again. Is he from 1982?
No, it's 84, but 85.
True that.
But yeah, no, Steve definitely skirted the rules there, but he was like,
He
yeah,
really did.
I'll find the loophole.
Tell me the story I want told is I guess my mantra on this one. It's not a character that's been untouched, but it's certainly a character that has more to give than what we've seen. And that's saying a lot. I mean, no place like Springfield is more than most Hawk
And
never
hella
got
compelling.
focus like that.
Yeah, he wasn't featured as one of the major characters in Devil's Due either.
I think we do get to see his wife in Devil's Due.
A little bit, but it's not that interesting, is it? It's kind of like an older Shipwreck. They're not telling the stories that I think people want to see.
Oh, sorry, I was still stuck on Hawk.
Oh, okay.
Leader of GI Joe, but all we've ever seen is a watch that's engraved.
What does that even mean?
His missus.
It's cool that you brought up Shipwreck because, again, it's a character that has been featured a lot. I go the complete other direction with him. Not a completely different direction, but more like he's an outsource for GI Joe. Like he is GI Joe, but he's always running an angle, as you said. And I've always liked him being the reason GI Joe has a lot of intel on Cobra activity, because Shipwreck, like Chuckles, is in the thick of it, and he is playing. I wouldn't say playing both sides, but he's definitely deeply set within Cobra ranks, and he's drinking out there with them, and he's helping them smuggle weapons, and he's doing all these like bad things. And there's a TV show called The Night Manager, which I've been enjoying quite a bit lately. And,
Oh,
yeah, and I gotta say that character, the main guy in that gentleman, his name, forgive me, but it's the dude who plays Loki.
Loki?
Tom
Yeah.
Hiddleston.
Tom
Yes,
Hiddleston.
old Timmy.
Fantastic actor. Like, wow, that dude's insane. But
Very good.
like when I see that character, I feel like he's playing the more sort of upmarket version of like how I imagine Shipwreck
More
would be.
British.
Yeah. Well, not upmarket, the way he sells himself. He's not as rough cut as Shipwreck is, but that's how I see Shipwreck, is like getting himself in there. And I don't want to say too much for those of you who have not seen The Night Manager. I think you would enjoy it, especially if you're fans of GI Joe, and especially if you're fans of the GI Joe Cobra side story. That's the thing. Yeah. Steve, you said something earlier to Rob and I. Or was it Steve or was it Rob? It's one of you guys now. Where you kind of said like our stuff is like really crazy and out there.
I think that was me. I
It
think I
is
said
that. It is
Yeah.
that, but also, Transformers as a toy line and as a product has had so many different permutations of their line. They've had the G1 line, which has kind of had its own kind of continuity. Then there's been like a spin-off of that continuity in Japan. Then they did Armada. Then they did, just there's a bunch of Transformers stuff
Gen
out there, right?
2,
There's Gen 2, there's the latest stuff,
Wars.
Allspark, what have you. And then they also had Beast
Armada.
Wars, as you mentioned now,
Yeah.
Rob. Beast Wars, which is a completely left field idea, but all we've ever gotten for GI Joe is GI Joe, and then GI Joe recycled, but with none of the caffeine or the sugar. And I'm looking at you, Sigma 6. Then we've had GI Joe with like too much guarana, but I'm actually down with Extreme, to be honest with you.
Extreme.
We had GI Joe Extreme. We've never really had like a lot of exploration or experimentation with GI Joe as a line. Hasbro, I don't know if it's Hasbro from their side have maybe been very tight with the brand, or held onto its apron strings or whatever's a bit hard, but it's never really had a chance to breathe and be something else. And I think there's definitely a place for like what you discussed, Rob, and what I discussed, and even what Steve discussed. I think
Yeah, it is
GI
kind
Joe
of.
can exist in all of these
Sure.
formats.
I'll let Steven tell his story. 100%.
No, but what I'm saying is like I think if Hasbro understood this brand, God, I sound like Cujo now. Hi Cuj. I think if
Here.
Hasbro fully understood their brand, they would understand that they could break it into different tiers, because, and I can't believe like it's been what 14 years, and I'm saying the same damn thing. Hasbro should be learning from Mattel. Mattel know what they're doing with their brands. They really do. Like from their figure subscription, from the way Mattel did their figure subscription service, to the way Mattel has revived their characters and has, like put stuff on TV. I mean, Barbie is one of the most successful films of the decade. Never mind toy films.
Huge.
Huge. And okay, we'll see what happens with He-Man. The verdict, it's out there. But let's think of all the Hasbro films that have done really well. Well, Transformers, and to be fair, not really Hasbro's property. So,
Battleship.
oh yes, yeah. Fuck, you remember when Battleship bust open the box office?
Boom. Everyone loved it.
You mean Transformers Light? Seriously. Not a bad film, I must be honest, considering some of the shit I've seen these days.
I know,
Battleship is actually not that bad.
It's fun. It's
It
just
was fun.
weird.
Yeah.
It's based off.
Poor Taylor Kitsch, man. That guy's actually such a great actor, and he's just
putting in him
his
rubbish.
agent puts him in the weirdest stuff. Yeah. Anyway, not gonna go into that too much, but
No, of course not.
Steve, that was a very cool contribution, man. I would
Thank
have
you,
loved. I would love some
Aye, aye,
Zanzibar
Captain.
in there. I would love to see some Zanzibar coming in there somewhere.
Yes.
I feel like.
Amen.
Oh, cool! Wow. Okay.
Great figure.
With that said, guys, have we got anything else that we want to throw out to?
Yeah, any new toys? Anybody? Anything new?
I've-
There's a vintage toy market next week, and it's the first one I would have gone to in Cape Town. I'm
Wow.
delighted to give it a try.
Interesting.
You come with, Rob?
I would absolutely love to, but I'm working that day. I know. I can't do it. I want to. Oh, you sound like idiot. I love it. Like, come play with me, Rob. Come play with me.
Pull a sickie, bro.
Look, I can try, but a Saturday, difficult. It's almost impossible to kind of like
yeah,
swing away.
especially month end Saturday.
That too.
Look, I'm curious to see what
If
wares there'll be and what the pricing is like. Is everyone
Mm.
trying to gouge themselves?
In Cape Town, you'll get
are there going to be
fleeced.
some deals? No, well, I mean, Paul, not for nothing, but you were seeing like 90s X-Men carded figures for 100 Rand,
In
which
Joburg.
like the price is never dear on those things, because Toy Biz made millions of them. But to get them for 100 Rand, to put it in perspective, that's $5 USD.
in present day.
$5.
I will ask my friend and see if he's going to be in Cape Town for that show. It is very much his bag. It's very much something he'll do. So if he is, I will let you know. But
There
if
we
he's
go.
not there,
Might
I
have
can
a
tell you
win.
now, there might be slim pickings. Because he is pretty much the vintage toy game in South Africa.
Oh, fascinating.
Dude,
wow.
I want to see people coming out of the woodworks with like shit that they've pulled out of their mom's attic. Like
Yes.
that's my bread and butter. Honestly, people
he
who
does
just
the
have
same thing,
buckets
man.
of old toys who don't quite know what they've got. Oh man, that shit makes me dream. Very happy dreams. Toy dreams. Lovely dreams.
Well, I saw a guy just today on Facebook. He took a photo of a bunch of vintage Motu stuff, and it
Yeah.
was in very good condition. And in that group, he went, "Hey guys, is this stuff worth anything?" And naturally, all the comments were like, "How much for this? How much for that guy? How much can I? I'll give you like 300 Rand for that He-Man."
Not
You know,
really worth anything.
These
Maybe you should
these
just
guys
DM me
knowing
and
full
give
well
them
that
to
some
me.
of those toys are way beyond that price. You know,
Of
like Thunderclap He-Man and all that
So
kind
how
of
much
stuff.
did
So
you
just
take advantage of him?
none, because like He-Man has the toy line has just what's the word? Injured me. I like the toys. I like what I've got very much from Motu, but they started getting ridiculous. I always say this, but the quickest way to kill a toy line is to have sort of exclusives and only exclusives that really does kill a toy line. It just stems collectors fervor, but it doesn't really help the toy line much because
True.
it makes it unapproachable. And when you put
Can't
characters
expand
like
outwards to a new audience when you're just kind of catering to the old. necessarily.
exactly, and when you put characters like Mossman and Grizzlaw, I mean those are the ones that stop me. You
Well,
put them
rest in
behind
peace,
convention
Heberg, I
pricing.
guess.
But okay,
Yeah.
Paul, hang on, dude. On the weekend, I sent you a very excitedly, I sent you a picture of probably the deepest discount I've ever seen in my life. The Mega Blocks Castle Grayskull.
Yes.
Massive and very heavy box of building brick systems with 6
Minifigures.
posable minifigures.
6. That's like more than 5.
It is, but get this, Rob. It was marked down from 4,600 Rand
Okay, 1,200.
to only 1,600 Rand.
Wow.
A 3,000 Rand discount. So that is
like-
less than half of what it cost. It's basically dropped from like a $300 toy to a $100 toy.
That's what we're talking about, guys.
But you know what is crazy about that? When that was first in South Africa, those were 2,500 Rand. Then they went up in price. So that price drop, while significant, is still more than half of what it was when it first dropped.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're comparing it to what it was back then. I mean, if you
Back
using
then's the
that
mood. I'm talking about a
you
year
know,
ago.
like, I paid $10 for this GI Joe.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about a
never-
year ago.
I mean, given
Yeah.
the weight of that box and the size of it,
Mm.
like your spend per brick is at an all-time low in that set. I can't believe you even as a reforming He-Man
still Mega
fan
Bloks,
doesn't
dude.
bat an eyelid.
Mm.
What?
No.
You just okay?
No, like Lego stuff, I admire Lego stuff from afar. Lego takes lots of space. It's huge. I like any building blocks, Lego bricks stuff. It takes up space
Mm.
and it attracts dust. Yeah, and unfortunately, as a grown-up, you buy a set like that, you spend that kind of money on a Lego set. You don't want to take it apart and rebuild it again. You're just kind of like, oh, cool, I did that, and move along. It's not like
Oh,
the
and
vibe you had as a
1/6
kid.
is not a price so dear as to not just do it for the experience of it. Like that. If Rob and
No,
I, like late one night, stuck on a bunch of He-Man cartoons and started building this
on
Castle
the
Grayskull,
TV.
like that would be worth the price of admission. I just think to
go
myself,
for it,
I'm
but
having second thoughts.
I don't have that kind of money to spend on anything other than what's very much on my list. So,
Good boy. Stay
Yeah.
disciplined.
Stephen, that was a test, Paul, and you passed.
shot.
Congrats. Stephen was
No,
tested.
I'm also like, guys, just for our listeners, out of interest, I am going very much back to my traditional drawing roots, like as in like I'm drawing and painting on paper and on a board again. I'm trying not to use digital unless it's for work at the moment. So I'm spending a lot of my hours perfecting and just getting those skills back up
That's wonderful.
to a place where I can actually have my work as original artworks. Obviously, not obviously, but yes, I would like to do prints and whatever's of that going forward. So, that's also materials. That's money that needs to be spent on paint and brushes and paper, actually.
It's not
Which,
a fantastic investment, in yourself.
thank you, Rob. But
You know?
that's also one of the things that's like, I love my toys, guys. Don't misunderstand me. I love being surrounded by all these manachis. I grab them, I play with them, I hold them under light. They're fantastic reference for when I'm painting. They're just really cool to like get ideas out. But right now I do need to invest in myself a bit more. And while that Mega Bloks Lego thing sounds like fun, and Steve, I must say you make a great sales pitch for it. The three of us building it while watching He-Man cartoons sounds like a joel. Translation for everybody, a vibe.
Yeah, hey, that's something we can do,
It sounds really cool, actually.
Great
But,
fun.
yo,
For
it's
all.
taking a lot of my resilience, my resolve. Sorry, to
But yeah,
resist
you
that.
passed the test with flying colors, Paul.
It's
Congrats.
a big box set. I haven't actually been to the toy shops lately. I believe there's some fun things that those blockies crap things are popping up in South Africa now as well.
Oh, Blockies.
Blockies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware. There's a company, a Chinese brand called Blockies. They make Americans. You guys are probably very familiar with these. They make Transformers. They're actually pretty much making every license under the sun. They're
Yeah, I
making
think
some
I
kind
saw
of toy or model
Star
conversion.
Wars. There's
Yes.
Han and Luke in the Stormtrooper outfits from A New Hope.
Yeah, they're doing a whole bunch. Now, I don't want to have a whole debate about Blockies here. I think it's
Please.
an aesthetic. You either like it or you dislike it. For
Mm,
me, I dislike it. I like the
Fair enough.
miniatures, the really little guys. I think they're awesome. The bigger stuff looks a bit goofy. I also understand I'm not that market, but they are a disruptor because they're selling their stuff. They bring their stuff in at a very good price point, and they're creating a very interesting experience for customers, for people, and especially for the kids' toy market. I think Blockies are definitely going to disrupt things, and maybe it's they're a force for good.
Mm,
Unfortunately, in South Africa, I think there will be a force for bad because as it is, we can't get premium action figures on our shelves anymore in toy stores. Now
preach.
having something like a 300 Rand Optimus Prime that you can assemble, that's gonna just make companies like Checkers go, yeah, cool. Let's bring in like 300s of those instead of Star Wars Black Series
Give
or
me those
Jurassic Park
Blockies.
or whatever's. Which let's see. Like I said, it's a disruptor. I don't want to be negative. I'm just saying I'm not a big fan of a lot of their aesthetic, but again, I really do love their miniatures. I think their miniature figures are great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I've got my handful of them, and I'm cool and I'm happy.
He is cool and happy. Do you know who else is cool and happy?
You,
Me.
yes,
Because I have had a wonderful beginning to my birthday thanks to you guys
Shut,
here
Bobby.
on GI Joburg. And thank you to everyone who kind of cheers in. I mean, joins in, watches us, listens to us. Every like, subscription just makes my birthday so much better. And if you
Oh,
comment
yes,
below,
guys, do it for Rob.
you don't have to just wish me a happy birthday. You can just talk to us about the cool topics we talked about. And thank you to the Berg Force, those who join us on Patreon, those who join us as members here on YouTube. You guys keep my light going. You know, like my light is brighter because of you. And I really appreciate that. All of you,
Rob.
you keep my lights. Oh no, guys.
Steve
Oh,
switches
yeah,
your
we
light
got
off.
another. We got us, and someone else joined the Berg Force.
Rob, before we like jump out the door, this one's for you because of your birthday, obviously.
it's nice to know
Well,
it's
not
on.
obviously. I mean, like obviously.
Sing happy birthday. Sing
We wish
happy
you all the
birthday.
best. I'm
Sing
not going to
happy
sing you
birthday.
happy birthday. I'm not the singer here. I'm not the one who has been paid to sing on stage. Nochal.
That's what makes it more special if it comes from you.
Oh yeah, that's how we become a bad meme. So let's not go there. But Rob, what are your wishes? Do you have any hopes for yourself for 2026 for
That's the
Rob's
year.
trip around the
Well,
sun?
my hopes are just just to keep being your friends. That's probably my
Aw.
biggest hope. I think
No, just don't
I
kill my
don't-
cats and we're good.
Just,
That's pretty easy.
just stay in contact with me, and you've made my wishes come true. Yeah, I mean, like obviously materially, there's always stuff that people want,
Of course.
but it's not as important. I mean, I've always kind of believed in the philosophy that you're kind of like kind of discovering is enjoy the stuff you have.
Yes.
Obviously it's always cool to get new stuff. It's
Mm.
wonderful, but appreciate what you have so that when you do get new stuff, you're kind of adding into an internal culture of yours. Where there's kind of like joining a family of toys. Where it's not just like adding something new to what you own.
Mm.
And
Well
as we
said,
always
Rob.
as we always say, go out and play with your toys. Like that
Yeah.
would make me happy this year. If everyone listening or watching, go play with
Whether
your
you-
toys.
whether you work for
Professor
Cobra or
Kilgore
GI
said.
Joe, as long as you're allowed to play with the toys.
Crispin Kilgore.
As Rottclaw says, play with your toys, guys.
Rottclaw. I thought you said Rottclaw. But yeah, with that, Robbie, again, happy birthday, my dude. I love you guys. I love you, my dude. And yeah, let's hope we do more of these.
Huh,
Cool.
Birthdays.
Birthdays?
I have them
yeah.
every year.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, right? Let's have many of them. But yeah, Rob said it so well. So thank you, Bergforth, and we will catch you on the next one, whenever
Next one.
that may be. I wonder what that's going to be. Well,
Could be
stick around and find out, guys.
we stopped knocking this ball down the road, so we have to come up with something else.
Next week, Cobra Septic Tank.
And with that, let's get out of here.